Hello everybody, it's Juliet here and welcome back to my beautiful messy life. Last week I was talking to you about my teens and how we have the ups and the downs and the fractious home life sometimes, with 3 currently and a tween as well in addition in our household. And we've not had a bad week, I must say, we've not had a bad week. I've spent a lot of it thinking about them specifically and trying to just sit back a little bit and look at what it is that upsets them when they do get upset and why and what matters to them, and just listening and watching a little bit more over the past few days. I've had the opportunity to do that actually because I wasn't very well at the beginning of the week, so it kind of made me sit and I was able to observe a little bit more. And I think really a lot of the time it's the old cliche of you don't understand, and I think we're all guilty of that. I think actually, yes, there is a lot that we forget about being a teen, and a lot that we don't know because times have changed, certainly since I was a teenager. Things are different in terms of what is readily available to them. Things that seem so small and so insignificant are so very important to them, and that it's really important to take the time for me, that it's important for me to take the time to connect with them on any level that they will allow me to. So for example, I was joking the other week when I was saying, you know, I'd mentioned to one of my teens, how was your day? And all I got back was, whatever. I was like, what do you mean, whatever? But actually, yeah, whatever. Do I feel like I want the kids coming into me at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening saying, hi mummy, how was your day? How was your day? I'm like, oh, whatever, go to bed now. So actually, it is about taking the time to understand a little bit more. Certainly for us in our house, I think. And I was talking to Mr. Lemon earlier today, and I was talking about the fact that we have our first 3 children, we kind of sailed through parenthood really quite unscathed. It was very, I wouldn't say it was easy, but we'd got it down. We were sorted. We were a team, and we had it going on. But then as more children were thrown into the mix, our lives became busier. Work took us different places. The children's endeavours took them different places, and just generally things sped up with homeschooling and all the other different things that we are involved in, each of us individually in our lives. And I think that was great, and that was fine when we had small children, because we knew what we were doing, and we were good at it, and we had a good rhythm and a good routine, and everything just worked in our favour. But as soon as we've hit the kind of teen years, with our eldest 3 and our 4th child is coming into that, actually we are back at a stage where they need a new manual. We need a new manual for them. They are a different breed. They have become a different breed. We need to read this manual from cover to cover. We need to not be skipping through little bits and trying to jump ahead, to get ahead. Actually, we need to start from the beginning, and we need to, and each one comes with their own manual. That's the difficult part, that each teen now comes with their own new manual, and it's very specific to them, and who they are right now is not who they're growing into. They're becoming who they're going to be, and we need to be there to help that blossom, to facilitate that, rather than hinder it with our own morals and values and house rules. I'm not for a moment saying that we need to allow our teens to come and go as they please and treat us and the house and their belongings and their siblings as they please. That is not what I'm saying. What I mean is that they need to feel like it is being acknowledged that they are changing, because actually they don't always like to voice that themselves. Sometimes they don't even understand what it is that they're feeling or what's happening to them. And so I was speaking to Mr. Lemon about it, and I was saying, you know, they've all got these new manuals that we kind of need to sit and study. And Mr. Lemon was like, oh, another metaphor. What's going on here? But yeah, I think better days are coming. I can hear somebody coming. Hello?
Hello.
I'm recording a video. I did tell everybody.
I know, but your door was open.
I know, but that's because I want to make sure that you're all okay. But I am recording a video.
Yeah, well, I didn't even start coming in.
I know, but I can hear you.
Sorry.
Okay. Yes, so I'll move on. I'll give you an update with how things are going in terms of mine and Mr. Lemon's study and graduation through into the next chapter, when I haven't got so many little listening ears. Yes, they do cause me a lot of mum worry. They're not doing anything to do that. That's me. But I worry about them all the time. I worry if they're okay. I worry if they're happy. I worry if they're not happy, if there's some way that I can help with that. And just connecting with them, just wanting to connect with them for tiny short moments. And I think that's what we need to realise, is that at this age they don't want us around and in their face all the time. They want their own space, and that's not being disrespectful of us or their home, or being lazy or boring or not wanting to do what we want to do. Or, you know, they are becoming who they're going to be, and this is an interim phase. And I think it's very important that we remember that as parents. And remember, as I say, you know, when I say we, I'm talking about me and Mr. Lemon. And going forward, you know, I hope that you're able to take something from the things that I share. But when I say we, I'm not telling you what to do. We need to remember that going forward, because they are struggling with things that we didn't have to struggle with. And we always say the kind of, oh, you know, when I was that age, you know, I feel like an old grandma, because I can remember my parents and my grandparents saying to me, but actually, you know, things are different. The things that they have to worry about are different. The pressures that they have. My older children are at school, and the untold amount of pressure that is put on them with regards to study and exams, that I have an opinion on, that I won't go into on this video. But I can't begin to imagine what that workload and that responsibility that they're shouldering is like. So when they say to me that they are tired and I think they've done nothing, actually they probably are very, very tired, because I know how hard and draining it is just to put pen to paper to do things that I consider to be my hobby. But these things will still wear me out. You know, it's all work the same, isn't it? it still takes its toll, whether it's on your mind or whether it's on your body. They have things to worry about that we don't. You know, they navigate their way through a whole world of computers and social media that we never had at our fingertips just a few short years ago. It doesn't make me old to remember a time when, you know, I didn't have the answers to everything at the end of a button. So our worries were different. You know, I think, oh, you know, my kids, you know, when I was 15, I was working and I had a steady boyfriend and I had this and I had that and I paid this and I paid that. But actually, that was different then. Things were different then, and I didn't have the study. I didn't have the study, and I didn't have the pressure from the people who were providing the study. For me, it wasn't the be all and end all because I was working, but then I had other things to make me tired and stressed then because I was part of the working world. So yeah, I think we need to just take a little step back and realise that just because we don't understand something very well, just because we've not done it, doesn't mean that our way was harder. And that we were more worldly or more experienced or less lazy or whatever. I think we need to remember that actually they have some things just as hard in different ways. So there we go. I'll let you know how I get on over the next week with my ponderings. Yes. So, moving on. We have had a really productive week. We've actually had a really, really productive week, and I wanted to show you just a few things that we have been doing and books that we've been looking at just quickly, just to give you an idea of some of the things that we do in our day. We started off the week, as I said, we were all poorly, but we have still managed to be really proactive and productive during the week. We've been to a couple of groups, those of us that have been well enough to go. We're going swimming this afternoon actually, so that will be really, really nice. I have got my grade 2, year 2 child, my 7-year-old, working on the Stone Age at the moment for her individual topic, and she's really, really enjoying it. When I presented the Stone Age to her last year, she wasn't really, she understood everything, but she just wasn't really into it. And I got one of these books out again the other day. It's just you know, you can pick these kind of books up from any kind of bookstore, The Works or similar. This is a Kingfisher one, but I'm sure that DK do them and so on. And she's just blown away by the fact that we used to look a certain way and the evolution of the brain and the human species and how we have developed. And she's absolutely loving it. This book is a lovely book actually. It's called The Best Book of Early People by Kingfisher. The price on the back here is £4.99 UK money. But I'm sure Amazon or Abe Books, World Books or somewhere like that will have this. It's a really good book actually because the pictures in it are so lovely, as opposed to some of the other books that I looked at in the library the other day. They were just so boring and so textbooky. Like, they had the pictures, but there was no background. There was nothing to it. There was nothing to kind of draw you in. So yeah, we just give you a little idea of some of the scenes that are being presented here. And she just absolutely loves it. So what I've had her doing in Waldorf style is we're using these little, I've got a bit of a glare on screen, sorry about that. You can see here this was just £2. You could probably pick them up cheaper. And it's just an A4 sketch pad. It's got 30 sheets in it. It's a fairly thick paper, but I wouldn't watercolour on it. We do use watercolour pads for our main lesson books as well, if I think that we're going to have a topic where we're going to be doing some watercolours or some painting. But this term, really, we're just sticking with kind of pencils, crayons, pastels, and we might do something with charcoal. And actually we will do something with charcoal because we're doing the Stone Age, so we'll do something with charcoal as well in these, and this paper will be fine for that. So we use these books. You can get them, you can use them whichever way up you like, but she is actually working on the Stone Age, and all I'm having her do, I don't know if you can see this very well, is I'm just having her, we're reading the book together, and then we're talking about it, and perhaps have her do a little activity, something related to what the Stone Age people were doing at that time. And then she's writing up, she's drawing for me, and she's doing a little bit of writing in the form of copy work. So I'm choosing something for her that I think is within her ability to read, comprehend and write, and we're writing that down. And so she's still being challenged with it. We're using the correct terms for things. She's done the Homo habilis, the Homo erectus, and the Neanderthals going on there. Oops. And we're walking through of the development of the brain, of how people developed. We're going to do some flint knapping and things like that, but I wanted to show you that because she's really enjoying it. We also read Stone Age Boy, which is a great book about a boy who falls down a hole and wakes up in a Stone Age time, and then he lives with the Stone Age people for quite a long time and learns how to survive and makes a friend, and then eventually ends up going back to his own time. And when he tells people about it, they just assume that he was dreaming. But then a really nice end to the story is that actually it's the author of the book, I believe, that then he's talking about himself, and he says that he becomes an archaeologist, and he never forgot the experience that he had with the Stone Age people. So it kind of leaves that. It's a really sweet book. My 5th grade, year 6 child who is 11, I'm having working on, and when I say 5th grade, that's 5th grade using a Waldorf inspired curriculum, year 6 UK school year. I'm having, again, we're using a Waldorf inspired curriculum. No, that is not true, what I was just about to say. We are using a Waldorf inspired topic for her. We don't use a full Waldorf curriculum because we're very eclectic and I kind of piece together my own. But what we are doing is using this book by Charles Kovacs, and it's geology and astronomy, and I absolutely love the Charles Kovacs series of books. They are a living book. If you don't know what that is, drop me a note in the comments and I'll do a little explanation on another video for you. But basically it's a living book that takes through very short chapters. So you've got a chapter here that's just a page and a bit, and this particular book is taken us from the beginning of the earth through to old rocks, mountains. We've just touched on volcanoes. From this we rabbit hole, which you'll have heard me talk about before. So if Ashley has a question as I'm reading, we'll make a mental note or write it down. We'll go off and investigate that later. She did have lots of questions as we were going through some of this. And what else? Yes, so we rabbit hole with it, and then we also will do activities and branch off and do deeper study on an area before we then continue with the next chapter. So to give you an idea of what she's doing, she has, again, a main lesson book. So she's doing geology. She's drawn herself a little picture there, a little title page. We did some work on mountains. I'm really not sure if this is showing up very well. I have bad lighting and a very, very bad phone camera that I'm using to do this. One day I will have proper equipment to do this for you, and it will be much more seamless and professional, so bear with me. We did some really fascinating study on hot earth theory and cold earth theory, which didn't even realise there was a theory for both sides, but I just assumed one way, and actually it was really interesting to look into. And then today she's going to be finishing off, she's turned her book, as you can see. We've moved on to volcanoes, and she's going to be doing some writing. So what I have Ashley do is I have her listen as I read, and then we talk in great depth. We talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about all the parts that she's interested in. And then what I've done in the past with her is then set her the task of drawing a picture, like Winter has done with her Stone Age, of drawing a picture and then writing down a little bit about it. But I'm really trying to move Ashley on in terms of the amount that she is putting on paper. So it's up here, but she doesn't like to write very much, and so I'm trying to get her to increase the amount that she writes so that she builds up more strength in her writing hand, which is her left hand, and obviously giving her the option of turning her book or using it back to front to help her so that she's more comfortable when she writes, and also so that she can then be prouder of her work, because the idea of the main lesson book is that it's for the students' very best work. So we don't mind mistakes, we don't go through it with a red pen, we don't correct them other than verbally, but we do expect the child to do their very best. Your best is good enough. And so then when you look back at it, you can be proud of it. So what I'm doing to encourage that is I'm actually working with her, not necessarily at the same time. I perhaps prepare mine the day before, and I'm doing my own version of a main lesson book, to not necessarily for her to copy word for word, picture for picture, and you'll see that there are some differences in the pictures that we've done, but to inspire her, to show her how she can present her work, or to inspire her to build upon what I have done. So mine's all in black and white, and I did that deliberately because I didn't want mine to be off-putting to her, so that she thought that it was too much of a challenge, or that she couldn't aspire to get hers to a certain, to increase the level of capability, if you like. I'm struggling for the right word there, but you know what I mean. So we did some work on mountains at the beginning. She did some great work on that, as I've just shown you. I do hope you can see that. She did some great work and really showed well in her colourful drawing how the trees change, how the foliage in the trees and the fauna changes as you go higher. And she got that really right. You know, she really did nail that on her work. That's another thing. Our main lesson books this term, I'm trying to encourage her to be very artistic, and for her work not to look like a textbook. I want her to fill her work with beautiful artistic pieces that she's been able to express herself upon. She doesn't need to worry about using a ruler or diagramming and labelling everything. I don't want it to look like a diagram. I want it to look like a piece of artwork. There will be a time and a place for diagrams in our main lesson books, but this is not the topic for that, in my opinion. It can be. We've done it before, where we weren't using main lesson books. We weren't using a Waldorf inspired way of learning for our main lesson, and we've done the whole cut out layers of the earth diagram and so on and so forth, and you know what, it's a bit dry. She knows she's seen the book, she's seen the books, she's seen the textbooks, she knows what it's like in there. We can do a demonstration visually with an egg or an apple or so on, you know. She knows we don't need to fill our books with diagrams all the time and make it so very dry. I want her to enjoy her experience of homeschool. So then we did the hot earth, cold earth theory, and again hers was brilliant. Hers was much more inspired, and I loved it. I said to her that I really loved the way that she'd used her colours for her descriptions. And then I hadn't seen this picture until I opened it up to you guys, but she's done a cracking picture there, and so she'll be writing up today using mine as a base, if you like, just as a guide. So I'm working with her on that. So that's where we're at with main lessons topics. I'm having the girls working individually, but actually they don't realise they're working together and alongside, because Ashley's doing geology. We've just hit volcanoes, but we're also kind of in the era, you know, we've got the Stone Age going on, so there's rocks there as well. So when we do activities, they can join together. I was going to show you a few books actually that we've really enjoyed recently, but I might do a separate video on those all together and give you a little bit of a review on each of them. Just to give you a little idea of what I've mentioned living books are. I'll show you what are some of the living books. We had The Courage of Sarah Noble. These are all really, really short chapter books that your child could read alone if they were of the right ability, but we use them as read aloud. So we had The Courage of Sarah Noble, 20 and 10. The Big Wave. I haven't got the one that we've just finished, which was The Light at Turn Rock, which was about a lighthouse and its keeper, which was really good. Sarah Plain and Tall, which was a very strange little book. We really enjoyed it, but it was like the most gentle, simplest book that you could ever read to your child. It was more gentle than Mary Had a Little Lamb. It really was. Very gentle, but very sweet. And our favourite at the moment, which I'm raving about right now, I've gone full circle with these because I was a little bit horrified with some of the content in the first book that we came across, and I had to do a lot of not censoring, because I don't believe in doing that to a certain extent. I think there's always an explanation to be had, is what I'm trying to say. And obviously you keep that as age appropriate as you can, but we don't need to avoid discussing things just because they make us feel uncomfortable. Little House in the Big Woods. Didn't know it existed. Thought that it was just Little House on the Prairie, what I grew up with in the days of the Waltons and so on. So excited to start the second book. We've just all sat in the living room and cheered. The children were like, yes, cheered, yay! Because something really happy happened after a sad, really poignant moment. Love these books. I'm going to do another video with a review of all these books on for you, that may or may not help to complement your homeschool day if you do read alouds, depending on what you and your family likes. But yes, Little House in the Big Woods. Be very careful with it, but lots of really good, healthy conversations to come out of it. Love it. Absolutely love it. So anyway, got to take the girls swimming now, so I'm going to sign off. I hope that you've enjoyed the video and the style of just general chit chat. I know it can be a little bit slow, can't it, when you're just having a chit chat. My videos perhaps aren't as quick fired and punchy and comical as most, but there'll be somebody out there, I'm sure, that has found benefit in something that I've had to say. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to do another video with the book reviews on, because I actually really want to just talk all about these books, these amazing books that we've read recently. If you have actually read a really good book recently that you think would complement our homeschool, please do let me know. Because we have a box downstairs, a little basket that we put our read alouds in, and we work our way through them. So I'd love to hear some of the titles that you're enjoying as well at the moment. Take care until next time. Have a great weekend.